Hello everyone.
Aha, we have something. Is it working? Let me see. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? That is the most important question. Because, yeah, I'm not sure what was happening.
Right there.
Sneak peek right there, exactly. Did we get anything? Are we here? Are we there? Let me know, chat. Thank you guys over on Twitch, YouTube and Kick. First time over on Kick actually. Hey B, can hear you all good. Perfect. Yeah, sorry, technical difficulties there. As always, I think my HDMI cable might need replacing, but we'll get there. Yes, I can hear you, Lynch68. Godspeed Creation, I do apologise for the delay there. Also, Staffy Adventures, hey bro, and thank you so much for becoming a member.
Been a while since we caught a live, hope you're well.
So thank you so much, that is insane. Oh, what's that? Dean Shelley's Wild Camping, thank you so much for another Tier 1 subscription for 4 months. Thank you so much.
Primal Nomad 138 far, Primal Nomad 138.
Hey. Ellie Corbett, thank you so much. That is amazing of you guys. I really do appreciate it. Joseph, good to see you, buddy. Loud and clear. Fruitcakes, how do? I do well. I'm a little bit flustered after all of that not working. As always, but that's just the nature of IRL. There's actually a reggae festival going on in the background, so you might hear some thumping bass and a few good tunes, but it's probably about 5-6 miles away, but it's still thumping across the open skies at the moment. So let's get this chair set up and then get the fire going. David Chase, good to see you, my man. Hope you're doing well. Sending my love to Yvette as well. Myself and Ellie need to come visit sometime. So I'm using the Kamui chair, and these are like becoming a swift favourite of mine. So small, so lightweight, and not too difficult to put together really. You just got to remember what way the fabric goes, and that's about the most difficult part. You get kind of 3 posts in, and the 4th one's a little bit of a stretch, but for the size of a pack down, they're just fantastic. So it's just this one here that can be a little bit of a bugger, but it doesn't look like much. But I've seen some pretty hefty fellas on these chairs, and they do support the weight, so it is yeah, not one to be looked at and kind of dismiss it too easily. They're really, really handy compared to your average kind of camp chairs. Fruity Cakes, thank you so much. Icebreaker, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. So we've got quite a few of you guys split across all the different platforms. We've got a good number on YouTube, Twitch and Kick. So like I said, Kick is another live streaming platform, and I thought, why not join in and share what I'm doing on that platform as well, because obviously there's going to be people sat on Kick, there's going to be people sat on Twitch, on YouTube. They're not going to be on all platforms, and it seems not like a wasted opportunity, but it's nice to share the outdoors. And usually, guys, on Kick I am out in the woods, hopefully going to be doing some kind of actual trips like in the canoe. I'm just kind of figuring out a waterproof setup for the IRL rig, because the one thing I don't want to do is obviously ruin all of this stuff on one trip. So yeah, figuring that kind of stuff out, but that's the kind of thing I'm hoping to do with the stream. Tonight we're just going to have a nice little chill. I've got some Hazy Janes, so if any of you guys have got any beers, let me know in chat, and yeah, we'll raise one together. I'm going to crack mine now. And thank you so much for the hype train level 1, by the way. I think that's one of the first or second on the channel, so really do appreciate it. And what a way to kickstart a Sunday evening. How have you all been? What have you been up to this weekend? Let's get everything, yeah, just keep rolling it in chat. I'll reply. Let's have a little chinwag. Thank you for joining in. It, like, honestly, means the world. Hazy Jane. Oh, my mouth is so dry already. You can probably hear the chicken at the moment. Pepper is deciding to try and climb further than the highest roost, so it's you might hear a bit of clattering around.
Just a cuppa for me tonight.
Been pretty good, all chilled, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it's cooled down a little bit. It was roasting weather most of this week, to be honest. So I'm not even going to light the fire probably for another 10-15 minutes. It's going to start setting in a little bit darker, and as that happens, then we'll get the fire going and get the cozy vibes going. So that'd be really nice. Just a cuppa for me tonight. Nice, Adam. What are you, a Yorkshire tea drinker, PG Tips, Tetley? I don't actually drink tea, so it's all new to me. It literally is, well, it could all be the same thing for all I know. I've tried drinking tea like once or twice, but I just, yeah, hot drinks and me just don't go. Burnt my bald head this week. Oh no, dude. I know the feeling. If I didn't have a hat, I'm sure my head would all be bald. Bald? It'd be burnt and then be bald, probably. Yeah, honestly, I burn so easily. I'm not too red. I managed to cover up. I've got like a really nice shirt from Trespass, I think it is. It's like SPF 50 or something, UVB and UVA fabric, so that actually works wonders. But even then, sometimes I feel the, you know, I think it's just the heat of the sun just debilitates you, doesn't it? And then you want to, like, you know, you get sweaty, you need to change so often. It's just a nightmare. The bearded Toby, good to see you, my dude. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We're just having a chill one tonight. You can see I've still haven't lifted the canoe up onto the little hop-ups. I used 2 hop-ups to turn the canoe over and rest it upside down, so then it doesn't destroy the grass. So yeah, I still need to put that up, but I was playing around with it today, figuring out how to do a one-man lift, and that's like a, what is it, a Prospector, I think it's like 17.5 foot or like 16 foot, so it's mentally massive. And I did get it on my back, but then just doing anything is almost impossible. So I think I need to pad the yoke out, and that might work a bit better, because it was just so damn uncomfortable. It's like just unmaneuverable, but I'll flip it over and put it on those tomorrow. But we had a canoe trip last weekend, myself and Ellie, Elle Archer, Tim Jackson, he's been on the channel quite a few times. In fact, it's basically a little small select group of the people who did the Y trip. Not last year, the year before. I mean, time just flies, doesn't it? Like, it doesn't feel like that was 2 years ago. But yeah, though, a few select people who did that trip with me, we went and did 2 days on the River Ouse. It was like literally just beautiful. We spent one night in a poplar forest, just listening to music and chatting. Yeah, just really good bants until like 1, 2 in the morning, and then all kind of knuckled down and went to bed. And then the second day it was just super peaceful on the edge of like a farmland field with this riverbank, the sun setting. Oh, it was just gorgeous. So video for that will be coming out sometime this week. But yeah, it was just really nice to get out on the water. Honestly, it was fantastic. Yorkshire tea for me, even though I'm from South Wales. Good man, yeah, my parents are both Yorkshire tea drinkers. 3 days, yes, sorry Ellie, it was 3 days indeed. Good evening Liam, nice to see you back. Paul Rawlins, good to see you as well, dude. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've been live. I've been doing some gaming bits on Twitch, kind of. Sorry, I just got caught by the pigeon flying over. Yeah, I've been doing some gaming bits on Twitch only. I don't like to put the gaming bits on YouTube or anything because it kind of digresses too much from the Bushcraft, whereas Twitch has a little bit of freedom. It's quite a new platform for me, so it's somewhere for me to express myself in the other ways. But yeah, I've been doing a few of those, getting smashed on Elden Ring and Hell Let Loose. But yeah, it hasn't been very busy on the IRL front, so I do apologise. I was going to do it last weekend when I was canoeing, but like I said, I was just a bit hesitant with the kit. We didn't end up going in. I think you'd really have to struggle to go in, and the canoe that we've got is so broad, and it's a really good length as well, so you'd have to really be pissing around or in a big windy lake to probably capsize that thing. So, but never say never, so that's why I'm just a little bit cautious. But yeah, it's something to experiment with, so hopefully I'll gain a bit more confidence doing the IRL stuff on other trips. I definitely want to go on some longer camping trips and take this with. It's just finding a good, reliable source of internet, I think, which is the main problem, without going overboard on like mobile modems, so they can be quite costly. But yeah, it's a whole network of things. I just saw actually the Starlink, Elon Musk Starlink, they're doing like a backpack version now, or like, I think it's for your phone anyway. You get like 50 gig of data a month, but it's at the moment like 80, 100 quid. So maybe as the streaming grows, and if there's like, you know, more ad revenue or whatever, not that that's what I'm looking for, but maybe as it grows, then that will just kind of naturally escalate with it. So that's always a route, isn't it? Thomas Messias, Liam, can you get those beers here in Northern California? I don't know. I'll have a little look in a second, actually. They are called Brewdog Hazy Jane, my man. Let me bring it to the camera. So Brewdog Hazy Jane. Hopefully you can see that. I've put the camera onto 4K as well, so whereas before it was on 1080p, so hopefully it should be better quality. Let me know down below if it is. Bearded Toby, sorry, I did see your comment. I just was got lost in the scroll. I saw your last video, it was epic. I need a good field quiet stay. Yeah, dude, honestly, it was a really nice time. Myself and Ellie have obviously used the rooftop tent loads, but it was just so good to get somewhere local and just do something quick and easy. And the beautiful thing about the rooftop tent is it does make it quick and easy. It's one of those.
Yes, thank you.
I don't know, assets you don't use for like 6 months, and then when you do use it, you kind of hammer it. So it's nice to have been getting it out and airing it this summer, and I'll definitely be using it on some more trips. Looking into getting an SUP. I might be having a blonde moment at the moment, so let me know. Remind me what that acronym means. You're gonna make me feel dumb now. JR Adventures, how's it going, guys? Really good to see you, my man. Really good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm doing well, and I hope you are as well. We're just having a beer here and going to start the fire very shortly. I'm not going to do anything romantic with the fire. I'm literally going to be using some of these little flamers fire lighters, or actually they're not flamers, they're from Home Fire.
I want
but they're really good. I've become a good fan of those for just quick and easy fires, like when I was at the rooftop tent. And you know, I don't have to do loads of tinder prep tonight. I'm sure you guys have seen loads of it, so maybe one night I will do a bow drill here. That'd be quite cool. I've got all my bow drill kit inside. I was like dusting it off today, having a little look, so I'm gonna make myself a few hearth boards and probably get out the old hand drill into the Wild Ryan, is it? I can't remember his new name now. But anyway, a Wolf's blog on Twitch, one of our moderators, he's been smashing the hand drill lately. So he sent me some videos the other day. He said he got it in like 40 seconds, I think. So I was like, bro, that's insane. The state detective, I say, old chap. How are you, old fella? We have got clear skies over here, no sign of the Luftwaffe. You'll be glad to hear, Albin. Anyone who doesn't know, State Detective over there on YouTube chat, he is one of the most wholesome characters you could ever wish to meet. Sorry, I'm going to pull my keys out on my backside. They're in my rear pocket and they're really uncomfortable. But no, Steve is a fantastic chap. I've done quite a few videos, I'm sure you might have seen if you watched the channel, Primal Nomad, that yeah, he's been featured loads and he's always lives up to his name, cooking a massive, huge lump of beef. So yeah, his motto is beef up, old chap. Definitely go check him out, State Detective. He's got loads of sauces, biltongs, beef jerkies, candles, spices, and yeah, they're all in the name of good old Blighty, so World War II themed, and yeah, really good products as well. I was thinking about doing some Peggy's hot chocolate tonight, but then the old hazies drew my attention a bit too much. Sorry, old bean. I'm from Aberdeen, so Brewdog is a definite favourite, but I have the non-alcoholic ones. That's good, man. Stand-up paddleboard. Right, yeah, I was having a blonde moment. That's awesome, dude. They're such a cool way to get on the river, and it's pretty impressive when you see people on them, because they can use them like a canoe, like a kayak. You can kneel down, you can sit on them, and then you can stand up and really enjoy the view. Salut, Cedric. Good to see you, my man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. We got quite a few over on YouTube, so yeah, I hope you are all well. It's awesome to have you here. We'll get the fire going very shortly. And soaps, yes. Stakey D also sells my soap, which is awesome. We did a collaboration, a sandalwood and black pepper one, so we've got both our stamps on there. They're all handmade with lard, and yeah, just really nice, good, wholesome, old-fashioned soaps, which kind of goes hand in hand with Steve's brand. So yeah, definitely go check it out, The State Detective. I'm not trying to shill it or anything. I love his jerky, it's insane, and he does all his ration packs as well, so it just makes for easy camp life. Mind out for drunk barge owners squashing canoes. Yes, indeed. Honestly, a little bit behind the scenes. I was talking to Craig that whole day. Like, literally, I was doing the rewiring on my truck, and Craig from East Anglian Bushcraft was messaging me like, "Oh, I'm loving this river trip. Look at this canoe. It's so awesome." And I was like, "Yes, boy, that's amazing." Then he sent me a video saying that he's having a pint in the pub, and then I got really stuck into the wiring. Didn't see the message that he'd replied with until the next day, and when I opened it up, it was just like the boat cracked and like half submerged and battered, and I was just like, what the hell happened, bro? 1 pint. But no, I felt so bad for him. And yeah, it's just, there is quite a lot of idiots out on the river. I think they have like a few sherries and then just go a bit wacky behind the old capstan. So yeah, it's quite funny. BH Road Stories. Hello people. Assalamu alaikum. Good to see you, my man. Thank you so much. I hope I got that right. Assalamu alaikum, Habibi. Hello from Emma and Tom. Emma, good to see you guys. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, poor Craig. Honestly, I felt so bad for him for eating cakes. It was one of those unfortunate moments, but I think the company understood that it was out of his control. I mean, that could happen to anyone, and just thankfully Craig managed to bail out in time. I think he said he was like shouting at the guy and he just didn't hear. It was like steaming through. Yeah, that's what you get when what are they like, like 14-foot Dutch barges, probably wider than that, I don't even know. What's a narrow boat? 6 foot wide, maybe a bit narrower. I don't know, does that class as narrow? You have to let me know. If Ollie was on now, he'd tell me he's got a boat. And my other friend Joe, in fact quite a few of my mates have got canal boats, and it is an awesome way to live. Just for me, that kind of risk of always leaking would be weighing on me. Or something like that, some nutter on another boat that's bigger coming and ramming your boat. One of my mates, in fact Joe, the one who I just mentioned, he lost a boat, it sank, some guy came motoring by, clipped it, put a hole in it, and he just watched his boat sink. And you know, the amount of water and the amount of weight in that, you need like a special crane to come and pull it out, so just a whole nightmare. I have canoed the River Lee loads. He was very unlucky. Yeah, 100%. It is just one of those cases of luck though, isn't it? I think it's always like that with rivers, which is why I'm kind of an advocate of helmets as well, especially around whitewater. I know on the Y we didn't use it, and that was kind of a last minute decisions. We had the helmets just in case. But yeah, it's kind of one of those, all you got to do is hit your head in the wrong place. You could even hit it on the side of your boat, and if you're 10 seconds knockout under the water, that's probably the worst 10 seconds to be knockout. So yeah, I'm going to get one of these fire starters crackling. I see a lot of people using these wrong. I'm not sure how they use them wrong. I mean, they do work even if you use them wrong, so I guess that's why. But yeah, they're basically like a tinder rope, so if you grab them and untwirl them, they just become so much wider. I see so many people using them and they're like holding it for ages or forever, just trying to get it burning, and then when it burns it kind of smoulders up and then can't really take the thicker bit. So with that, you've just got so much surface area, you can just literally grab and go. And yeah, I think it's Flamers is the company that originally contacted me to say would I be interested in trying them. And just with the busyness of life and what have you, I kind of thought, well, it's a little bit, yeah, I just forgot basically, and it was a little bit rude of me to contact them and be like, hey guys, do you mind me testing those things now? But I know Tom, Back Garden Bushcraft, has used them in a few of his videos, and these ones, like I said, are home fire. A good mate Grant gifted those to myself at a last camp, and I've been using them literally ever since. You only ever use once, one or two. I don't know if you remember, but I live on the canal in a narrowboat and lots of booze up people going past every day. Oh, that's right, I remember you saying. I do remember you saying that. Yeah, that must be a nightmare, especially like when it comes to a larger vessel. Just risky, isn't it? That's the problem. Now the Hexi-based firelighters are banned, yeah, that's the problem. All of the good stuff's banned. Give me 1 second, guys. I was just double checking the old power bank. Sometimes the cable goes a little bit dodgy, and there's a fan right next to it, and it was just touching it, and I could see it moving, so I didn't want it to tug it. I've had it happen before, so that's quite funny. But yeah, such a lovely evening. There's quite a few clouds in the sky, but it's kind of it's almost like a salmon sky this way. Like I cannot, for the love nor money, remember the type of cloud formation that is, like cirrus or something. Really, it's like scales. It's really nice, though, beautiful. And like I said, there's a reggae festival booming off, like in the distance. So that's quite funny when you get little glimpses. I think UB40 were there yesterday, so it was quite funny tuning into a little bit of that. I guess it's one of the benefits of being near a venue like that, but we're not even too near. It's just there's so much flat ground. There's not really a hill between here and there, so nothing buffers it. And the arena itself is literally a big bowl in the ground, so it just pushes that sound out. It's like its own speaker, really. 6 foot 10 inches is the width of a narrowboat, and yes, water leaks can be distressing. 6'10", that's pretty good then. So you, like, in theory, you can lay lengthways across it. It's not actually as narrow as you'd think. I think a lot of people assume they're, you know, like how you see the old-fashioned trains. Yeah, any of you guys on a few drinks tonight? I was thinking about getting some Mad Squirrels. They're like a really nice brewery. Costco sell like a 12-pack. There's 4 different types of Mad Squirrel. Mad Squirrel? Is that the brewery? Yeah, it is. Hopfest is like one of the kind of session ones, and then you've got things that go up to, I think, about 6.8%. Like New England IPA, Roadkill IPA, and there is another one, and they have become like a firm favourite, but can't seem to get them as like a big box or a 4-pack other than Costco, and I don't go there regularly enough. And buying them in a shop like as an independent, you're like £2.50 or £2.80 for a pint. You're like, ooh. I mean, it's not too bad, but it's kind of like pub levels. And when you're doing it at home and you've got cans and stuff, yeah, seems a bit pointless. Might as well get a bottle of whiskey at that point. So is Brewdog from Scotland then, is it, Bearded Toby? Because you said being near Aberdeen is quite a firm favourite. Brewed in Elon. I'm probably going to be showing my geography amiss here. But Elon, is that in Penrith? Okay, so literally just on the border. It's like Cumbrian. I love Penrith. In fact, like every time I go there, I always end up going to the castle ruin, which I guess everyone does as they pass through Penrith. And I never really, it's just always a stopping place, like stop, refuel, get some food. I need to actually travel and have a little look around it. I think as a younger person, as a younger kid, I went there with my parents a few times, so that was, yeah, just a little bit too long ago to really remember the history of it, I think. Yeah, we've got some awesome heritage in England. You know, the most standing circles, stone circles in the world, like per square mile. There's loads to explore. I remember when myself and Ellie went to the Cotswold, there was like one day that we did, I can't remember how many stone circles, it was amazing. And they were just the kind of more well-known ones. There's like really tucked away ones. And in fact, I think we're going to do Hadrian's Wall sometime this year. Maybe try and do the walk, like walk the length of Hadrian's Wall. And then that would be something where, again, if the signal allowed, that's kind of the dream of like bringing this rig out. That's really where it excels. So, you know, not for the whole trip. I wouldn't do like 72 hours of live streaming, although that'd be cool, but the battery life I'd need would be insane. I'd have to carry a Blue 80 in each hand. Then get Ellie to follow with the backpack and stuff. But no, I think, you know, if I tuned in for like a few hours a day or something, that'd be quite cool. I guess there's going to be spits and spurts where the signal would be good and the signal would be bad, so it would probably allow for natural breaks doing that. But I have like 3 access points, so yeah, I've got an E1 and 2 from 3, although one's like a piggyback off 3, but that doesn't really make any difference.
Nice nicer and nearer than Hadrian's Wall?
Have I done the Ridgeway nicer and nearer than Hadrian's Wall? To be honest, I've only ever done the Ridgeway like in tiny little bits, mainly on vehicle as well, on the old off-roader. So much smoke. I'm going to move in front of this for now. Yeah, so mainly in the Navarra, like Salisbury Plains. But I think I've walked the bit going up to Stonehenge, but that was probably 8, 9, probably pushing on like 10 years ago. So again, something I really need to go and do again before they shut it for good as well. That's the problem. A lot of these byways are getting less and less permission on them. They're just like getting turned to like cycle routes or byways only for foot traffic. I mean, I think it's like 90% of the byways around here now have all been been changed from a boat to like just a public bridleway. So it allows horses, bicycles, foot pedestrians, but no longer kind of like motor vehicles, which I kind of tend to disagree with. Yeah, I don't know. They've been fine forever. Avebury Circle, and it's just down the road from you. Yes, Avebury actually is somewhere I need to go and explore. I'm pretty sure there's an old monastery there as well, right? So, yeah, again, I love doing national trust properties. When Ellie was at university in Berkshire, we used to go, not every weekend, but like quite often go out to different like stately homes and see different sites. So you do forget what's on your doorstep. There's quite a lot of nice country parks around the area as well. One place I want to go is to my local deer park, which obviously I can then do a bit of a chat about all the different species, because I think we've got up there 7 out of the 8, and one of them they don't have which is roe, and that's just because I think they just tend to escape. They're not really a deer that you can keep in captivity. You'd need literally high wire fence the whole way around, and most of the deer park is just cattle gridded and normal livestock fencing. You know, most of them are herd animals anyway, so they stay where the good's good. So there's red deer, sika, fallow, John Pierre Davids, which are like a really rare deer. You don't see them basically anywhere in the UK. Chinese water deer, muntjac, but there is no roe there, as far as I'm aware anyway. But there's like melanistic fallow up there, so that's quite nice. You see a lot of the white harts. The hart is obviously another name for a fallow. Yeah, it's really funny actually, like with deer, they've got, obviously most people know them as stags or bucks, but like a stag really technically only applies to here in England anyway, like red deer and maybe a fallow. I don't actually know that. I don't actually know. But buck would be, you know, your roe, your sika, fallow buck, muntjac buck. Don't really tend to use the word stag for many things. Again, like doe, we don't really use doe for red deer. Red deer is a hind, the same as a fallow is a hind. So yeah, it is quite strange, and people do get really funny about it. I remember making a comment one time, and I said something like this fallow stag, and they were like, it's a fallow buck, and I'm just like, no, I can't even remember. I don't even think it was that. It was just, but yeah, people get really funny about it over here, whereas in America it's just like stags and bucks really, isn't it? But over here you got like prickets, just like all sorts of little tiny differences in the ages, spikers and yearlings. Obviously yearlings are totally different, but yeah, it's just quite funny how over here we get really pedantic about like certain specifics within the shooting community, and I almost think it's like, we just make it sound so unattractive to any new person coming into the scene. They're coming in and they're like, you must not get the name wrong. Sorry, the Road Rock. Sorry, the brand basically. She's our black chicken, and if someone's in the egg box, she just always goes mental because that's like her. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna go shear her off. Overlanding in a 4x4 on the byways is the way to go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, give me 1 second there. Hello, you. Hello. Is there an egg up there that you don't want to sit on? Is that the problem? Yes, there is. 2 eggs. There you are, girl. Here you are. Come. That would explain why she didn't want to go up into the egg box. There was 2 up there. And peace. We'll see. She'll head on up. I'm not getting smoked out now, which is fantastic as well. It was literally a bit overwhelming before. Yeah, she's going to head straight up. She was just telling me there is no way I can go up into my bed, Liam. She's like that literally sometimes about 7:30 in the morning, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel so bad for the neighbours. But it is a natural animal. She's just a very vocal one. I guess it's quite a nice alarm call. The old nature doesn't do it in a bad way, does it? It's very rare that a sound in nature will piss you off in the morning, even when it's like a deer barking when they're going for it. Kind of just, you just accept it and lull back to sleep. There was one the other night, a muntjac just absolutely going for it, and he was just getting closer and closer to camp. He was like, why are you in my spot? Just barking away. And I think that was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 in the morning. So yeah, you just drift back and think, look, we're in this spot. I'd probably do the same if I found someone sleeping in my field.
Where's my gun?
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that. Cockerels. We don't have any cockerels. I wouldn't do that to my neighbours, ever. Yeah, that would be brutal. I think you need, like, I think there's a restriction, or if there isn't, there needs to be of, like, you got to have an acre or more to have a rooster. Because they're just mental. And they do need a lot of land, actually. I don't think it would be, I guess it would be fine having it in the enclosure where we've got. I mean, it's massive. It is big enough for like 12 birds. And we've only got 3. But we don't need more than 3, that's the thing. It's like needs must. There comes a point where you've just got enough eggs. And it does, like, if you get, the more you have, the more risk of infection, the more feed, obviously, so then it cuts into the cost that you're actually saving by not buying store eggs. Obviously, you'd always want homegrown eggs anyway, or home-laid eggs, rather. Homegrown, I'm so used to saying that. But yeah, because obviously there's no antibiotics in with them, and when we do have to treat them with an antibiotic, which has only ever been once, you know, we can do it in a small controlled batch, and that would be for something like an infection, which can happen with livestock at any point. That's the problem. And like with the hot weather, you get mites, so yeah, then you've got to clean out the whole nest box. Obviously, if you've got more nested material, more waste, so it swings and roundabouts. And if you get 3 eggs a day, and you're not eating, let's say if you're eating an egg a day for breakfast, or baking every other day, you do build up a good surplus. I mean, you've only got to not eat eggs for 2 days, and you've got half a dozen eggs. So then you've got enough for a cake and a meal, haven't you, or something. So I know whenever we're getting to like a bit where we're thinking, okay, we've got like 12 eggs here, Ellie just smashes the cake bacon, which is awesome. so it works well. Need a miniature cow to eat my grass and pint a day. Why are there no miniature cows? Fruitcakes. And that has been a question that's annoyed me for a long time. I think there are like a smaller breed of cow. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly certain there is like a pygmy cow or something like that. But yeah, that would be amazing. You get like 20 teacups of milk instead of 20 pints. Yeah, I've always thought that about like micro pigs. Obviously, they don't actually stay micro. They just end up basically like a pig, a slightly smaller pig, which isn't ideal. But yeah, I always thought if there was like micro pigs that basically like javelina size, like a javelina is like a wild feral boar from Mexico, but yeah, if you could get like a javelina sized pig, you could have like micro bacon essentially, or like a tiny little, well, I guess a suckling pig, isn't it? That's what suckling pigs are. But suckling pigs are obviously young pigs that are only suckling, so it's a bit brutal. And I often think like a bit of a waste, because that whole pig would grow to be massive and you've like killed it when it's that big. But then if it was because it couldn't be kept to that size, and I do get it, it's kind of one of those needs must, kind of like excess crops. I guess there comes a point when even farmers have crops left over from the year before. If sales, for example, have been down or crops been high and demand is low. So I guess it does happen all the time. In the USA, $1 is nicknamed a buck because buckskin was worth $1. Ah, that's awesome, Paul. I like that, dude. That's the kind of etymology I like to know, honestly. That's damn cool. It actually makes like complete sense as well. And it goes back to kind of what I was saying, doesn't it? Buck. You know, they just basically call a male deer a buck over there. I don't even think they use the word stag. I think like a stag is quite a Scottish word as well. Yeah, there's a lot of different language, I guess, up in the Highlands to do with deer stalking and like gillies and yeah, in fact they call their deer stalkers gillies up there, which is where you get the word, or where the name or the term for the shooting, obviously like the sniper outfit, the ghillie suit, came from, because the ghillies would often camouflage themselves to go out stalking and hunt deer and keep themselves covered. If they were doing like a cull, they'd be up in the hill, cover themselves in moss and bracken. So yeah, that's where the ghillie suit name or terminology came from. And still today they'll call themselves a ghillie, so a true Highland red deer stalker is a ghillie. So yeah, quite an honour to be one as well. And it's pretty tough work up there, you know, you're working the hills and carrying big old beasts. Like the red deer are massive, they're like not too far off a small horse. I don't know how many kilos actually, let's have a little check. How many kilos is a red deer stag? Yeah, 160 to 240 kilos. So I was going to say 140 kilos. So if anyone who works in pounds, that's 350 to 530 pounds. So it's a fair old weight. And if you can imagine, obviously you're probably going to lose, I guess, a quarter of that through like gut and offal waste. So as you remove that on the hill, you cut that down quite significantly, but then obviously you're taking the majority of the skeleton back with you, including the rack. And I know in America, in fact, you've got to, I'm pretty sure you've got to keep the genitalia attached, and the head to the hide as well. So I'm pretty sure that's the rule. Over here, I don't think that is the case, because it's mainly on, you know, everyone who is shooting, generally speaking, has a DSC, like a deer certification. You don't have to have one, but to go out and do it professionally, you do. So then you're already expected to know about the seasons, what's to be culled, you know, what size limits are out there as well, and generally that's up to the estate or the deer stalking manager. They'll put together a cull plan and do that within the respective seasons of the deer. So they'll say, look, we need to target this amount of males, this amount of females. Generally speaking, probably going for more males than females. You know, if you want to hit the numbers of population, you need to target the males, funnily enough, not the females. So yeah, it's kind of getting through all genetics and letting the newer ones come through, so as not to stagnate. But then there's like a bit of contrary on that. Some people say like the older bucks genetics are actually stronger, always definitively stronger. So there's kind of like an argument on that. So it's always interesting hearing people like Steve Ranella, who, if you don't listen to, check him out. He's the Meat Eater podcast. He also has a series on Netflix, or multiple. So he started off with Meat Eater all those years ago. It wasn't even on Netflix at first. I think it was on like the shooting channel over there. So it went all the way up to like season 7, and then I think it went on to a different network, and then season 10 it went to Netflix. And it's just, yeah, I'm so glad it never changed. I was a little bit apprehensive when it went to Netflix. I was like, oh, is it going to kind of get tamed down or neutralized a little bit? But no, I think that was kind of roughly when Joe Rogan got on the scene with him. He brought him onto the Joe Rogan podcast, then convinced Steve Ranella to do a podcast himself, which I'm ever grateful for, because it's fantastic. And ever since then, Joe Rogan went on a hunt with Steve and literally became a big avid bow hunter. Now you've obviously seen people like Gordon Ramsay go bow hunting in France, which I'm like utterly jealous of. If anyone knows me, you'll know that I've literally, it's probably been on my bucket list for like 8, 9, 10, 12, my whole life probably, to go to hunt anything with a bow. I think every kid's dream is to go out with a bow anyway. But yeah, it's definitely, I love going out and deer stalking with a rifle, but it still, to me, kind of feels like cheating. And I know people will argue, yes, when you go out, if you're using a compound bow, it's going to be technically, you're not using a bow, but it's still the same discipline and ethic, and that's what I like. It's the kind of the fair game aspect of it. Like hunting with the rifle always seems to me to be a little bit kind of like you're kind of picking your hand, extending your hand and kind of doing your work, which is fine, and it's a tool in the place, but I would just like to access the feeling of doing it very primitively at least once in my life. So yeah, it would be awesome to see that. So it's nice to see people like Gordon and Joe Rogan and people like Cam Haines and Steve Ranella making it much more wide known and widespread and more talked about and kind of accepted, because yeah, I think it's one of the more respectable ways of hunting, although it's maybe has less of a chance of success. I don't think that's necessarily such a bad thing. You know, the fact that you have to be such a better outdoorsman, like intrinsically, to get closer to the animal. A lot of people say, oh, it can maim, but you know, a bad shot can definitely maim an animal, and I've seen plenty of that before. So I don't think there's really a foot to stand on when it comes down to ethics of killing an animal in any way. So yeah, it's a hard one. I don't know, it was only due to kind of lack of support or lack of widespread want to do it that it never became more mainstream anyway. And it's kind of archaic laws that stopped it. So, you know, back in the late medieval periods, it was basically outlawed for the peasant person, and it hasn't really changed ever since. So it is a shame. Is bow hunting in the UK banned or legal now? Fruity cakes, it is banned. Yeah, unfortunately banned. George Curswell, hello, how are you doing, my man? Thank you for tuning in, dude. But yeah, it is banned over here. I think in the late 80s, I think it was like 81, they were going to bring it back on the table when they re-legislated for the Firearms Act. But the chap, basically the solicitor who was in charge, didn't bring forward the bill about the bow hunting. And retrospectively, obviously, they realised, and they had drafted the bill, so it just never went through, which was a bit of a shame because, like, in places like Australia, New Zealand, America, France, Germany, Portugal, Spain, it is legal. So, you know, there's enough case study, I guess you could say, to warrant it being legal. I just don't think there's the want or need for it over here. I think it's like ethically a lot better, especially for where we are as well. Like we're litigated to have moderators on our rifles for you know, for basically anything over a 2.2. So yeah, literally, it's bonkers to think that something quieter isn't allowed. And the fact is, you can go into any store and buy a bow, like right now. You can go buy a compound bow, you can buy a recurve bow, you can buy a traditional longbow, you can buy a crossbow, you can buy broadheads. You can't use any of these things for animals. The same way you can buy a slingshot, you can still carry a slingshot around with you, but you can't hunt with it, obviously. But then the things that you can hunt with are obviously so highly regulated and licensed for good reason, but it just seems a bit nuts that, you know, you're kind of like trusting people don't go out and buy this thing that is perfectly available and bow hunt. Like they're just trusting that people don't do that, but then it's so hard to actually do it properly. It just seems a bit nuts. So yeah, it's strange because there's already the archery societies here, and like proof of competency, I guess you could say, when you're handling a bow, to be able to join a club. So you're kind of halfway there. Yeah, it just seems a bit crazy. No worries, fruitcakes. More than happy to help, dude. Yeah, it's just proper nice evening actually. Proper chilled. I've got a compound bow that is vintage, probably, I think it was made in, again, the 80s or late 70s. Still like one of the ones with steel cables, so it's a bit nuts. It's like a death trap. You put it back, I think it's 60 something pounds with the let off of like 20%, so it doesn't even let off that much. So you're still holding like 40 odd pounds, and then the cable's just, like I said, steel, so it doesn't feel too, you know, too firm, I guess. There's an awesome pipistrelle bat flying around at the moment. There's quite a few around here. But no, Tom's got a, Back Garden Bushcraft has got a, what is it, a Bear Essentials compound. And that thing will like put an arrow like 6 inches into a tree, I'm sure of it. He's also got the Bear Essentials crossbow, which is just like, I can't even explain. It's incredible, such an upgrade from the ones I've got. And they were gifted to me, but they're just, yeah, they're just kind of heirlooms now, I guess. Things I don't really want to put the stress through of firing them, and it's also one of those risky things, like if a compound has a fracture in them and then you pull it back and it's got 60 odd pounds draw weight on it. I need to get a tiller to test it. I think that's what they're called, tillering. Tillering's obviously where you put the bow and then you take off the excess weight where it needs to curve a bit more. So yeah, I should probably do it on something like that and get a little winch and wind it up and just double check. But like I said, I'm probably going to get rid of it and probably sell it to a collector. And not for loads of money either, but just sell it to someone who will appreciate it. rather than letting it just collect dust, and then invest that into something, and then probably, you know, once I can happily put something in a target at, like, I don't know what, 50 yards, 60 yards consistently for like a year, then it's probably time to go out on the actual live prey and like go to somewhere like France. But I get like invites every year as well, which is annoying. But yeah, it's just not something I feel too confident doing. I hope that bat flies in front of the camera. That'd be cool. He's darting around. Right, let's get some more wood on. Right, if you give me 2 minutes, I will BRB. I'm just going to go use the bathroom. Hello. I am back. Oh, what a nice evening.
You need to weld a pipe to the bottom of your fire pit and turn it into a Dakota fire pit. Smokeless. Portals.
I do indeed. I actually do. That's such a good idea. I saw a really cool bit of kit actually. It was like this, they call it like a square inch fire, but obviously it's not a square inch. That would be literally ridiculous. I think it's like basically 20 centimeters by about 8 or 9 or 10 maybe. So little rectangle, tiny little cube with a little chimney on it. And it's got like a glass, fireproof glass side, so it's like literally a tiny tiny little wood stove, but obviously you put it in there, you pack it full of like twigs. It's got a reducer, a dampener on there, and then you can cook off the chimney or off the top of it. And it just looks awesome. It's like probably pointless. But for something like a Lavu, I was thinking you could probably make a little tiny little chimney off it, it would actually be pretty good for heating it up just quickly. You obviously wouldn't burn anywhere near all night, it would burn for like an hour. But definitely pretty cool, and something to take the edge off, and wouldn't warrant carrying in like an extra 3 or 4 kilos, which most fires, like, you know, wood stoves are. I've got a titanium one, which is pretty damn light. I think it's only like 700 grams or something. But then with the chimney and the rest of the bits, then it adds up weight, and then you're obviously carrying in a Lavu, which is like 3.5 kilos. It's winter, so you've probably got your winter bag, which is like 2.5 kilos. So already in sleeping kit, you're already up to like 12, 15 kilos. With your sleeping pad, your backpack. That's the problem in winter. It's easy to rack up some pretty damn significant weight in a short period of time. So it's like the cross between now and winter is like such a big, vast difference in kit. It's something I'm trying to figure out at the moment, like pack size of sleeping bags. It's like half the time you don't warrant the bag you've got, but then the other half of the time you do. So you got to go like overkill. You got to err on the side of caution, but you don't want to end up breaking your back. So yeah, it's like catch-22. I was looking at some nature hike stuff, and they do like envelope sleeping bags, which are quite cool. So they're not mummy ones, which are obviously tapered. The envelope are just like more traditional rectangular ones, don't have a hood or anything. And the beauty of those is that you can open them up so they act more like a blanket. And let's say if there's two, like a couple, you can flip them over and zip them together to make a double bag. But then obviously you can pack them down individually. So they seem quite versatile. Like, the problem with mummy bags is you can't do any of that. You can't open them up as a blanket, you can't join them together, you can't extend them. So yeah, it's like constant kit thoughts. Dean Shelley's, we got a wood burner installed in our house, can't wait for winter now. Yeah, buddy, is that your first one? Did you have like an open fireplace before? We have always had an open fireplace, and then yeah, we got a wood fire put in, a log stove, probably like 5 or 6 years ago, and it does make a massive difference. Open fires, there's nothing quite like it though. I think there is a charm to them, although they're a bit more wasteful. It's kind of like, how hot do you need a front room? I always think that it's like, you know, really, when people open up fireplaces, they should have it as open from both sides. So take advantage of that, or have a back boiler or something. Like a heat exchange going to the hot water system, because it's a lot of wasted energy. But I guess it's limitations of expense at that point, always. But yeah, a log burner in the house is pretty game changing. In fact, you can get like a little Le Creuset kettle now, Dean and Shelley, sorry, and literally boil it on the gas stove, for example, when you want a cup of tea, and then just to keep it tick over, just put it on top of the log burner. That's literally what we do, and it just yeah, it's like constantly got this tiny little whistle going, so you have to flip open the whistle. It's quite cool. That is literally pucker. So warm though. Thank you to you guys on Kick as well. I do appreciate it. I think my Kick chat is working, but I'm not sure. I saw Global Godspeed Creation at the beginning using Kick chat, so that was a good sign. I use an app called StreamBuddy to basically connect all my chats on here, so I've got YouTube, Twitch and Kick pumping through, so all of you guys keep coming through on one app. So it sometimes takes a little while for me to decipher the order of things, but yeah, it's quite handy. I'm just trying to figure out the nuances of Twitch compared to Kick and
It used to
YouTube
be an
and what have
open
you?
fire, yes, but new house to us and chimney needed work.
Nice, yeah, chimneys are a bugger. They're always so exposed to the elements for like their whole life, so it's understandable. And the problem is with like sand and cement, for example, smoke has loads of sulfur in it, so it does attack the mortar when you get like sulfur damage, which is like kind of like a delamination of the mortar. It kind of jacks up, so you get a lot of that. And if it's lime, obviously lime is fine, but after a certain amount of years, like anything, especially of heat and hot and cold and expansion and contraction and being out up in the middle of you know, the elements, they generally take the brunt of the weather, so it's understandable that they take a little bit of a beating. But like you've done, it's always a good opportunity to chuck down a flue liner and get a log burner on the go. You're going to love it this winter, honestly. It's so cool. You'll be able to cook on top of it as well. Save yourself a load of money as well. That's the thing, like if you're already got a fire on, you might as well just use it to cook. There's no point in putting on the stove, is there? In fact, we were restoring a friend's chimney and fireplace. It was like an old Victorian rough arched fireplace, but they'd put a cast iron facade on it. So we took all that off and refurbished and restored the arch, and behind it had to redo all the parging in the chimney. So we used a traditional mix there, and up in the top we found the old fire crane, so that was pretty cool. So I think his intentions are again this winter to start using that, which would be quite nice. Buy season firewood now, it'd be a bit cheaper than in winter. Yeah, for sure, dude. In fact, it's funny you say that. I get all the adverts coming through from like the local Parks Trust and stuff saying all our seasoned wood is now, you know, get your orders in before it's too late or all being bought up. In fact, I'm burning some stuff that we bought from Little Roper's Camp, which was in memory of Bill Kincaid, God rest his soul. He passed away last year, but like a lot of you might know, he was like a kind of grandfather figure in the community. So yeah, we bought this amazing split firewood, and this is all ash and oak basically, and it was like a £5 for this huge bag, really big thick waters like you can see. Yeah, it was like the best deal of firewood ever. I should have filled the back of the truck up, really.
After watching some of your previous videos, you have inspired me to go out and buy a 16-feet canoe and a lavoo setup using a Bushcraft Spain lavoo modification.
Oh, dude. Do you mean the lavoo extension, like the little porch extension? They look phenomenal. I've turned into like basically using another half of a lavoo and creating that into a porch, which works awesome, but those little caps look insane, and that is so cool to know, man, Paul, honestly. Yeah, 16-foot canoe and a lavoo setup, you won't go wrong, to be honest. All I will say with the canoe things is just to give it a little feel and a manhandle before you buy it, just see if it's something that you feel comfortable wielding around, because there's going to be times when you're going to have to portage, you know, so you're going to have to get out of your canoe and either take your kit out and carry the canoe over your head and walk with it, which generally is okay on smaller canoes. I think 16 foot is probably like your limit of that. It's definitely doable, and for a bigger framed person, someone taller than myself, it would be probably a bit easier, because the amount I have to stretch to kind of lever it up, because it's all a case of pivoting. You know, I'm like on my tiptoes and then I get it and then I'm fine, but it's kind of that lifting it up. You know, I'm what, 5'11", so if you're like around 6 foot, probably manageable. But yeah, the other thing is obviously wheels. A lot of the wheels on the market are suited for like kayaks, so like canoes generally want a bigger wheel. So that's something I'm battling with. But it's not too bad, to be honest. We get it on and off. We get it on the river, portage loads. The other weekend we used kayak wheels, and it slipped off 2 or 3 times. But you know, we're going to like inclines like that, so it's kind of to be expected. Jamie Phillips, word up to the bushcrafting, having a brew, nice. Jamie Phillips, good to see you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I'm having a hazy Jane at the moment, so I think this is the second one. So going steady. I hope you're having a drink as well. It tracks well, but not as stable as my narrowboat. Oh yes, that's for certain, dude. Oh yeah, of course, you got a narrowboat. You can literally just chuck it off, like keep it on top and chuck it onto the river or onto the canal and go. You're not like me. I've got to drive my boat to the river. You just live on the river, which is funny. There's the bat again. Hopefully you'll fly over me and you'll be able to see. Lynch 68, tried hammock camping the other weekend and it was fantastic. Oh dude, was that your first time? That's awesome.
Nice, steady away.
Steady away, absolutely, man. Chin chin. So Lynch 68, how did you find it? Were you comfortable swinging away in the trees, or were you like seasick? I know a lot of people have like mixed opinions on hammock camping. I've seen some funny like first goes as well, you know, where you literally people sit down and just flip out of it. A few of my mates were like that, and it's normally because it's all too tight. So if that was your experience, just like loosey-goosey, like a little bit more slack. That bat is literally getting so close, that's amazing. Let me see if I can show him on camera. If he's going to silhouette, 1 second. Capture some natives and force them to portage for you. That's amazing, dude. Could you imagine? Yeah, get the local runners and dog walkers. I saw a really cool idea actually, which if mine again was a little bit shorter, I'd probably do. But it's basically you get the front forks of a bike and keep the wheel on that and attach that to one end of your canoe, and then you walk with the other end, so the back is kind of held up by the wheel, which means you can turn. It takes like 90% of the weight of the canoe, and you just yoke it in the middle. So yeah, quite a cool option, but I don't think suitable for me, because like I said, that thing is just a beast. It's perfect for like 2 people on a long trip. Myself and Ellie could fill that and probably live a week, no issue. Honestly, like we did on the Y canoe trip, I mean, there was still bags of room in there, so it's definitely perfect, and it's got flexibility to kind of grow with a potential family, for example. But yeah, maybe if you were solo, I think Lee Claxton's is like 15 foot, and that's a little bit more manageable. Best sleep you've had camping? Oh dude, that's so good to know. What hammock did you use? Was it a DD hammock or One Wind or another unknown brand? I know there's like literally so many outdoor companies now. I noticed you had a Pomoly stove for your Lavu. Was it the T1 Mini? I think it was the T1 Mini, yeah. It was the folding titanium, let me see. Pomoly T1 Mini. Let me have a look. I think so. I think it was. Decline those cookies.
DD hammock.
Yeah, it definitely was. Oh, I don't have the glass sidewall. I've just got the glass front door. But yeah, it is the T1 Mini. Very good. Really good bits of kit. I know they started making them a lot more solid bodied now, so they're not folding, and I think that's just because of like a tiny bit of leakage, but I never really experienced any of that, and if there was, it was minuscule, and I was never having it roaring overnight anyway. I don't think that's really the done thing, so yeah, it was never too much of an issue for me, but yes, very good bits of kit. And yeah, it was unfortunate they didn't do anything in the Prime sales. I know the Wolf's blog was trying to get his hands on one, so I'm not sure if he's managed to get one or not yet. DD hammock, yeah, they're really good. I've got a Frontline DD hammock. Yeah, it's Frontline. They do basically 2 different variants, well 3 or 4, 5, 6, however many, but 2 basic different types, which are the Frontline and the Travel. The Travel hammock is a double as a bivvy bag and a ground shelter because it's waterproof. But the problem with it being waterproof is obviously you perspire at night, so then you sweat in it, so then you get wet. I hear quite a few sirens, so that's not good. The reggae festival might have. But yeah, the travel hammock's waterproof, so then obviously when you perspire, it kind of just gets you wet in your sleeping kit. So it's not a bad option, but in hotter weather, it's preferable, but then it has its kind of negatives to it. The Frontline hammock is breathable, so the problem is it lets a bit more of the wind chill through it, but then it allows you to breathe basically through the fabric, so you don't wake up with any sweat or anything. So it's like catch-22 with hammocks. Under blankets make an awesome difference, because basically you create an air insulation gap in that between that blanket and the bottom of the sleeping bag, and generally speaking the blanket's made out of a sleeping bag kind of material as well, so it's yeah, there's loads of options with hammocks. We have 1 Tigris hammocks, can't fault them. See, I've looked at those Dean Shelley's while camping, they look awesome. There's quite, honestly, there's been so many innovative designs and like companies come in the last 20 years, it's really mad. It's, in fact, I want to do a video about it, because like the first echelons, I guess you could say, of like me looking into bushcraft and stuff was like at my local library, like scouring through eBay to find the 1 or 2 bushcraft items that even existed, and there was like one sleep system called the Eco Sleep System, and it was developed by a company in Spain or Portugal, I can't remember, but helped with Ray Mears, and that was like the only kind of hammock sleep system for jungles and stuff like that out at the time. And then DD came on about probably about what, 12-15 years ago, and that kind of changed the game. And then ever since then there's just been loads of innovation, which is really awesome. You're seeing like all sorts of types now, like tensile, which are like a basically hammock tent, and yeah, like Craig East Anglian Bushcraft's got some mental ones where you're basically like as flat as a pancake on it, which is, you know, basically unheard of before. So yeah, it's really awesome to see so many different companies doing it and then pushing the boundaries of what they can do. And it all filters down to us slowly. I know you see like a lot of content creators doing like tests of stuff that are quite expensive, but then generally speaking within like 3 or 4 years they do tend to come down in price. Like the Flextail pump, for example, I remember like 5 years ago they sent me the first rendition of that. It was literally the first ever edition. They were like, we're a new company, we want to make a tiny little miniature pump for sleeping pads, and it was, looking at it now, it looks massive, but for then it was absolutely tiny. And now they brought one out that's like almost the size of a 9-volt battery. It's like literally mad. Whereas the first one was like a bit shorter than this can. So it's been one of those awesome journeys seeing how much kit has started to come out, and now you're seeing like places like China really jump on the bandwagon, and now it's just like flying out of there at insane levels. It's mental. Like AliExpress, for example, they're like, there's literally basically nothing you can't find on there, and some of it's actually pretty, you know, you might as well get it from there if you're buying something like tent pegs. At the end of the day, they all come from the same place. They all come from the same factory. There's a lot of UK makers though that, for example, like Thornhill Ultra Heavy, you're not going to beat that quality. Bushcraft Spain though, for example, Paul Rawlings, a very good company. I know quite a few of the group bought a lot of the Bushcraft show, so that was quite funny. And they were waiting literally all weekend not to buy anything, to kind of like decide what they'd spend their money on, and then they basically all went and binged out on the Bushcraft Spain stuff. So they've all got like these awesome wax canvas tarps and like Lavoo extensions, and one thing they actually had which was awesome was like a waxed ridgeline. Let me see if I can get a picture and I'll show you guys. Bushcraft Spain waxed ridgeline. It was one of those just aesthetically pleasing bits of kit. Like, I don't really have a need for it, apart from I'd love to put all my traditional gear together with it. Cool. Smoky. Fruity cakes, I definitely need to take you up on that Dakota fire stove idea. That's a very good idea. Do you know why? It might be something that they only do at like events, which is going to be a shame, because it means I can't even order it off them. It's not in their accessories, which everything else is. Oilskins and canvas. I don't think it is. They do some amazing bits of kit though. I obviously can't share my screen right here, but I was hoping I could get the picture. Ridge line. Ah, here we are. Tarred rope. Bushcraft 4mm tarred rope. 4mm apparently. Let's have a little look if you can see that. Very, very cool stuff. But it kind of reminds me of the rope that Sam had in, what was it? Twin Towers. Not Twin Towers, oh my word. Two Towers. I can't believe I just said that. Lord of the Rings and the Twin Towers. That would not be a good one, would it? But anyway, I think it's probably getting a bit dark now, isn't it? Let me get this on. How is that? I've got the Mifa Wild Camping speaker here. I'll show you guys.
You are on a watch list now.
That.
No.
Please don't say that, fruitcakes. Yeah, that was a silly little miss-up. Twin Towers. Frodo!
Bushcraft Spain bedrock.
This is the Mifa Wild Camping speaker and lantern, but it also has, that's just one of the coolest features ever. Look at that. It's such a nice soft light, and it's got a potentiometer in the top, so you can get it right down nice and low. But it also is a power bank and a Bluetooth speaker, so pretty cool. They're like pretty expensive, but compared to a Bose speaker as well, they're pretty much on par, if not better. You can link up to 100 of them together as well. We had quite a few pump in at one of the last camps, and it was just like insane surround sound, and they all pick one instrument, which is quite neat. Well, it's not one instrument, but they separate the mix quite nicely in stereo, so you really get that layering. Bushcraft Spain bedroll and wool blanket. Oh yes, dude. Have you got a Bushcraft Spain bedroll? If you have, you're a lucky man. I've got a Thornhill one, so they're just as, I think, just as good. Like, Thornhill Ultra Heavy is probably the UK's version of Bushcraft Spain. He's such a fantastic maker. He's just had a young kid as well, so of course supporting him means helping support someone here raise a child, which is really awesome. But yes, Scott from Thornhill Ultra Heavy is amazing. If there's anything you're looking at from Bushcraft Spain that you're thinking is just a bit outside of your price range, definitely check out his stuff, because he might be able to better it as well. So but there's obviously some things that Bushcraft Spain make that he doesn't, so I completely understand going there as well. Their wool blankets, for example, are like the thickest things I've ever seen in my life. They were honestly, you can see it in the slow-mo on the beginning of my Bushcraft show video. They're just like wench. They're like huge, I don't know, like 10 inches tall folded. They just look like really thick wool blankets. I think in fact they're like alpaca wool as well, blend, so they look really good and insulated. But I was just, one of them was like so white, I could just never take it camping. I'd just be so terrified of getting it dirty. So I ended up getting myself like an army surplus. It'd never been used, bearing in mind, but it's an army surplus American wool blanket, and this thing is huge. It's like king size, and it's so heavy duty, so warm. You can sleep out with that. Sleep out in summer without a sleeping bag in that. It's amazing. In fact, I think L Archer last week did that, and Jordan. I think they were both just under wool blankets, just under the canoes. They just like propped their canoes up on the side and then just chilled under that. Yeah, I think I'll have to get something from Bushcraft Spain just to warrant me ordering a load of that tarred cord, because yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't like using synthetic fibres too much, because honestly, like paracord for example, I'm sure you all know it, when it's like got the 5 core strings in it, you end up cinching really hard on your ridge line, that the middle cores just start coming out, and then you start getting like a gathering of the outer sheath, and it just takes like all of the power that you've just put into pulling that ridge line out. It's one of those pet hates. That's why I tend to use like 5-strand solid core. It's not paracord. I can't remember what it's called. It's like polypropylene bank line. But yeah, something like that without a core. I hate cord stuff, so that's another reason when it's a natural fibre that's tarred, you've got that extra bit of friction, which is nice. Oh, tell you what, it's been one of those few weeks, like July just seemed to just go like in a flash. I can't believe it's August already, to be honest. I don't really know where it went. I managed to get out on quite a few trips in the last little stint of July, which was nice, but the beginning of it was like finishing sorting out bits on the truck like late June, and then July, I just don't know where it went at all. I think we did a little ropers camp at the beginning of July, which was obviously my birthday weekend, so it was nice to see everyone there. I think that's maybe why it just seemed to have gone so fast, because we had like such a massive start to it, you know, like camping with like 40-50 people, just like 3 days of absolute incredible times, and you know, doing something in memory of a good friend, which is always nice. So yeah, I think that just was like such a highlight at the beginning. We just kind of aired through. Obviously one of my work colleagues unfortunately lost his mother, so that was quite a worrying time, because obviously just making sure your mate's all right as well. So yeah, it was a little bit of that. I think it's just kind of like being a haze this month. It's been a strange one. Has it been the same for you? Or is it just me? Do you have any more camps adventures lined up? I think hopefully I'm doing Sudbury to sea in the canoe with Craig, East Anglia Bushcraft. I think we're doing that mid-August, so that'll be 3 days on the river, down to the sea, and then so that'd be nice. we were going to do it earlier this year, but the river levels were just so high. Like, we looked at it and 90% of the river where we were going was like a quarter mile wider, essentially, because it just broke its bank. So we were like, well, at that point you just don't even know where you're going to end up camping. So we thought we'd wait until the end of the year. So hopefully, I'm just confirming work schedule this week. So hopefully be doing that. And then I think September, I've got stag do for Tom, Back Garden Bushcraft. He's getting married, so September's fairly occupied doing most of that stuff. I'm really excited for that as well. So I've got a few little secrets up my sleeve for him. I won't spill the beans just in case he's watching. But yeah, September's mainly revolved around that and work. Got quite a busy work schedule. And then October we're going to Scotland to do another canoe trip for like, I think a week. So that'd be really good. Which I'm looking forward to the most, actually. That's kind of my vibe. I'll probably stay for longer than a week as well. I'll probably go up there, do the canoe trip, and then just end up on the side of a loch for a few days. And that's one of the beauties of it, because you've got the right to roam up there. You can literally just keep going and just, yeah, Scotland is your garden at that point. Just practice leave no trace, be respectful. Obviously a lot of people, like when it was lockdown, screwed Loch Lomond. So I think Loch Lomond's like one of the only places where the right to roam has technically been lifted. But yeah, it's exciting times. It just always seems, you know, you plan things and then something comes up. I really want to do Europe, for example, but then the back of the truck did what it did. So just trying to put aside for that, but also got to insulate the cabin which is there, or the shed. So yeah, it's just like job after job. I'm sure you all understand. But yeah, talking about work, I have got work tomorrow, so I better sign off fairly shortly. But I do appreciate all of you tuning in. It's been awesome catching up. Chat has been insanely busy tonight. And Staffy Adventures, honestly, again, thank you so much for becoming a member over on YouTube. You are the first member over on YouTube, and yeah, it means the world. There's obviously quite a few of you guys who are subs over on Twitch, and yeah, that means the world too. Thank you so much for your resubs and what have you.
Being up in Avemore in October.
Being up in Avemore in October, bike camping.
Have died off.
Yeah, fingers crossed the midges, man. Oh, they are lethal. Although I've never experienced the full overwhelming power of the midge in Scotland, so I've been quite lucky when I've gone up there. But I have definitely seen some terrifying videos. Like, you know, even a mosquito net isn't enough sometimes up there. Check out the Flextail electronic insect repellent. It just uses a frequency that it puts out, but apparently they're really, really good. I personally haven't used one, but they're meant to be really, really good. And again, AliExpress, Flextail actually tend to have their stuff on there from their official store a little bit cheaper. So if you can wait the few extra days for shipping, it's definitely worthwhile. But yeah, I am gonna leave it there, guys. I think it is probably getting late enough. It's getting about to 10 o'clock. I'm fairly local, so I know there's some children around and down the street with windows probably open, so I will let them crack on. And yeah, to all of you guys on Kick, I apologise if you've been chatting away. Let me just check and make sure that you haven't been. Let's see. No, we're good. That's perfect. But thank you guys for tuning in. Do appreciate it. Again, like I said, it's my first time on Kick streaming. Definitely not the first time on Twitch and YouTube, and won't be the last time. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Raid Baron, very good idea. 3 cakes, is he on? I shall do a raid on Baron indeed. Can I raid here? How do I spell his name? The 88th Baron, that's it. Is it double R? Baron. It is. We have to be up for early for work too, but glad we managed to catch you alive. Yeah, likewise, Dean Shelley's. Honestly, thank you so much for tuning in. We need to catch up again sometime as well. The show was so nice. It's good to put faces to names, so hopefully we'll get another opportunity soon. Like I said, I've got a community camp hopefully popping up soon, so you guys will be the first to know. I'll do the announcement when I go live and then put something out on video for people to come and join. So yeah, let you guys make sure you enjoy the rest of your drink. I'm going to sink the rest of this hazy, sat next to this fire now, and enjoy it. But yeah, I do appreciate you tuning in. Have a fantastic week, and yeah, just keep smiling. Keep up the awesome work on being yourself, and yeah, just stay out of the sun if you're out there working. Right, we're going to start raiding the 88th Baron. If you can all join, that'd be awesome. Just spam the order emotes, tell him Primal Nomad sent you, and enjoy the rest of your glorious evening, guys. I'm going to roll the credits now. Thank you guys on Kick, thank you guys on YouTube. Again, thank you to everyone who resubbed, thank you to Staffy Adventures for the membership and stuff like that. I do appreciate it. Dean Shelley, we'll catch you soon. It would be amazing. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled, and I'll see you guys all soon. Enjoy the credits, and yeah, stick around for the raid. Give him your love. 88th Baron, he's an awesome guy, and give him a little hint, give him a little nudge to come check out the Primal Nomad channel. All right, guys, stay safe. Love you all.